And with artificial intelligence, it is increasingly difficult to figure out who you should trust out there. But what happens when the person that you are actually taking financial advice from isn't actually the person that you think? What happens when scammers impersonate that particular person? Because this is happening out there all the time on social media. Now, Tanya Walker is a managing partner, at Walker Law, where they specialize in fraud litigation. Tanya, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You must be very busy these days.
Just a bit.
I would imagine. Okay. So is it increasingly difficult to figure out exactly who is behind some of these scams?
Yes, it is, because scams can cross international borders. And so you would need to find out someone's IP address, and that is very difficult to do if you're going outside of Canada.
And so what are some of these kind of financial fraud scams that you have seen? Are people like impersonating financial experts?
Somewhat. You see a lot of deep fakes nowadays. So deep fakes is when you think you're speaking with or seeing a particular person that's credible, but it's not them. So I see it with banks, government agencies, or even friends, where through the use of phone calls, text messages, emails, social media, you believe that you're dealing with a credible person or company, but you're just not.
So what are you supposed to do in these situations? People must just be heartbroken when they find out what's really going on.
Yes. Well, even on WhatsApp, right? So some of us are on a no call me list, and you might still get that message on WhatsApp saying, why don't you invest in this company, and the group is owned by a credible person. So when you think that you might be scammed, or you're just concerned about how authentic that source is, you should pause and maybe verify. You can hang up, look up the number on Google or the organization, and call back and say, I just received the call. Was this you? Was this company? Never click on suspicious links. You don't want to click on a link and then you end up getting some information embedded in your computer that really shouldn't be there, that will steal your information, personal information. Use strong and unique passwords. Don't use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Use strong, really unique passwords. And also be skeptical of investments promising high returns with no risk. I saw this so much because the interest rates in Canada were low for such a long period of time that people try to invest in certain ways to get a higher rate of return. But sometimes if it's too good to be true, it actually is. So be very, very wary of that. Make sure you report it if you believe you're scammed to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. If you can help warn others. And the Canadian, as of March 31st, 2025, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre has said that there have been over 12,000 reports processed due to fraud and over 9,000 victims of fraud and $165 million lost to fraud.
You make a really good point there. Do you feel that we are more susceptible to these things because we look at the kind of secure interest rates and investments and go, well, that's just like 3, 4, 5%. I need to get more than that.
Yes, because when I come into the picture as a litigation lawyer, we're looking at 10, 15, 20%. And that people were promised in terms of a rate of return and that they were scammed out of. Some people are just not interested in earning a rate of, say, 3 or 4%.
Right. And so that is why we tend to fall prey to this stuff, is because we think, well, yeah, why can't we make more money off of our investments?
Yes, that's what I do believe. That's why we fall prey to this. And that's why sometimes people just invest hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes their life savings, into these scams. And it's really, really difficult to determine who took the money. It's because they could be someone in a different country in a different continent, and it's very difficult to find.
Okay, so Tanya, in those cases, then what do you say to people like that who think, no, it's fine, I'm just going to get 8% instead of my 4%?
Well, the problem is people only come to me with problems. So it's not usually I deal with people who have been scammed. If someone actually says to me, Tanya, I'm thinking about investing in this particular entity or person, and I'm promised a rate of 8%, then I would say, please do your research. please check the Business Better Bureau, check out that person, and make sure that that company or that person is actually authentic, because you're better off earning 3% and actually receiving the money rather than losing money over an 8% interest. So I always, red flags kind of come up, and I always warn a person. And make sure you definitely have a contract in place. Make sure that you have a personal guarantee. If you're lending money to a company without any assets, if your money disappears, it's going to be very difficult to collect. So if you can, sign on with someone who owns property with equity in it. So then if the money is not repaid back to you and you sue and you win, you're able to actually collect, because all a judge says is whether you won or lost, the court doesn't have the resources to help you actively collect your money. So you have to be very, very careful to not lose that money and to gain money off your money.
Right. And I guess also, Tanya, we should remember that, famous financial people are not out there on the internet saying, call me or click on this link if you want me to help you, because that's just not the way that works.
No, it's not usually how it works. And if you believe that, then usually a famous person might have someone helping them in public relations. And I would suggest do some digging and contact that person or that company to find out if that advertisement is actually linked to that person that it's purported to be. That
is very good advice. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate that. Tanya Walker is a managing partner at Walker Law. They specialize in fraud litigation, so she has unfortunately seen way too many of these cases, particularly right now with artificial intelligence being able to impersonate financial experts, right? So scammers are kind of impersonating well-known finance pros online, and then you think, oh, well, no, this is that person that I saw, listen to them on the radio or whatever, without actually checking to make sure it is that person, calling their office and seeing, oh, did you advertise? Did you run this advertisement that I clicked on? That is the way. Do your homework when it comes to your money, because you know what? If it sounds too good to be true, I don't have to finish that. You know it is. You know it's too good to be true.